We give thanks this morning for this chance to be together in this virtual fire way. We assemble. What's in our mind and in our hearts is an invitation, a restoration of community, a restoration of relations. We return now in our minds and in our feelings to the sacred hill of Chartres, where for eons, people with thoughts of creation assemble from all religions, all walks of life, all races. Let us now, with full intention, with the path of light way before us, come forward. And so to take our place in this long procession of people remembering and renewing, living all my relations.
We share with you something that we have been doing for 17 years in the town of Chartres, about 40 miles west of Paris, which has been recognized for thousands of years as a sacred site with a particularly potent feminine energy, first recognized by the Druids over 3,000 years ago and consecrated and reverenced ever since. And so every year, Ubiquity University and our Wisdom School, which is the founder of the Chartres Academy, convenes an annual pilgrimage to go there. And for 7 days, we engage in an initiatory process filled with ceremony and ritual and teaching and sacred practices so that we might more fully open ourselves to the sacred feminine and thereby refine healing and refine compassion and refine the potential that all of us so deeply possess and yet find so challenging to manifest in the world. It's been a fundamental part of my spiritual life for the 17 years that we've been going there. We want to share it with our Humanity Rising community. Last year, many of the people that came were from Humanity Rising. So once again, we want to share what we are planning and invite as many of you who are able to come with us to Chartres this July 2nd through 8th. I'll put the link in the chat for those of you who are joining on our Zoom line, and for those of you who are watching passively in our global audience through Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, just go to ubiquityuniversity.org, and right there on the homepage, the top banner will be a link for registration for our pilgrimage coming up. It's a sacred place. It's a sacred initiatory process. And in a time such as ours of deepening chaos and escalating turbulence, whatever we can do personally and as a community to bring coherence to our souls and to thereby refine our capacity to manifest compassion has become an urgent, I would say, national security issue for everyone around the world. And it's in that spirit that we continue to convene these pilgrimages on an annual basis. At the heart of our experience in Chartres is collective dreaming. It wasn't something we expected when we first convened there in 2005 and then again in 2006. But it was actually Apela, who you just heard, who recognized that one of the blessings of going into deep communion with the telluric energies of the sacred feminine was an extraordinary capacity to collectively dream. So we've been dreaming together since our inception.
What showed up for us is a dream work ceremony process that's unlike any in the world. It's collective. It recollectivizes us. It's place-based. And the other thing is wondrous things happen through it. People dream for each other that don't even know each other. People have gotten healings. We have, maybe today in the European indigenous life, there are no shamans that we know of left. The last one I knew, Roger Marty, who was Occitan from the south of France, passed away about 5 years ago. So maybe none of us are true shamans, but when we come together and are collectivized, we can have powerful, powerful dreams with a shamanic presence to them. So every year, Veronica, who you'll meet in a minute, and Timoti, and myself and other people, we sit in a circle, we do a ceremony. And why a ceremony? And Jim was talking about ceremonies, like, great, but what's the real meaning of it? Well, the real meaning of it is, in this sense, we are destroying the earth and killing our own species. It's totally insane. We're dissociated from life. So through the dreams, we become reassociated. Through the dreams, we can hear, and through the rituals, we again can hear and listen to the voice of the earth. So it's important that it's important that we return to the origin of ceremonies, because that's where we get the communication with Mother Earth again, and we can restore and renew ourselves. So we listen to dreams in a ceremonial way. There's no cross talk. We do it every morning for about an hour. And at the end of and when we take the time to sit in the circle and listen deeply, we illustrate the dreams with a person called a glypher, and we record the dreams in text. And then at the end of the week, we make a video presentation back to the group about what the meta-narratives are. What is that hill saying through our collective body of dreams? Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to...
Ceremony invites a place to hold that mutual longing between ourselves and the earth, ourselves and the sky, ourselves and the sacred site of Chartres, ourselves and our ancestors. And work at Chartres has begun a process for that renewal, and offers a place for those of us who have that calling or deep longing to re-establish that connectivity to the creative process of life. And it gives the dream spirit, it gives that collective dream spirit the opportunity to have a voice and to retell creation in a contemporary way today. And so we really look forward to you coming to the circle and sharing in this beautiful ceremony and this beautiful work, where we can bring those questions within ourselves, and we can give space to our dreams to retell the story of your creation. So I join Apela, and I'm alongside her each morning, normally with my shruti box here, and that's another story. I won't tell it now, but I really celebrate the opportunity to be alongside the dream team, to welcome you and to share in this very sacred and beautiful, profound work of our time, and give space to the dream.
Thank you, Apela. Thank you, Timoti. We'll see you in Chartres. You know, one of the things that is so powerful about the experience in Chartres is the fact that it is so physical. The earth is radiating energy. The cathedral is like a music box. It's like a book. Everywhere you go, you feel the physicality of spirituality. And that was one of the extraordinary achievements of the Chartrean masters that conceived of the liberal arts that we consecrate. It was intensely incarnational. It was intensely embodied. They believed that God could be experienced through a leaf, through a sunrise, through art. So the Chartrean experience is an intensely artistic expression. So one of the aspects of our experience in Chartres year after year is how we embody our spirituality. It's not just a flight of imagination. It's an actual incarnation in our and through our bodies. And the person who curates that for us is Banafsheh Sayyad, who's the founder of the Dance of Oneness. She's from Persia. She's a sacred dancer. She's also the co-director of the Chartres Academy. So Banafsheh, I want to thank you for everything you've done to shape our experience there, and just invite you to share what you do there with our global audience, because it's such a powerful part of what we do.
Happy to do that. Hello to everyone. It was wonderful to listen to Apela and Timoti, and to you, Jim, and to see the video that showed the site, this magnificent holy site of Chartres and the beautiful cathedral, and just a little glimpse of our community there, our gathering there, that really becomes a very close and intimate time for us. As you've heard mentioned by Jim, and as you heard Apela speak about Chartres, this amazing site, everyone, is an intersection of the telluric energies of the earth and extraordinary art and creativity and spirituality of various traditions. I really believe that every artist and anyone who's interested in art and creativity, as well as anyone on a spiritual path, should visit Chartres and experience this glorious town and the cathedral that Joseph Campbell, the mythologist, called the womb of the world and the greatest piece of Western art. You know, the cathedral is an awe-inspiring edifice of adoration in stone and in glass, the adoration of the divine and the adoration of the glory of life. People have, and this adoration, everyone, isn't limited just to the Catholic way. As you heard Jim say, people have been visiting this holy site, this holy place for thousands of years. And Our Lady of Chartres, that is the name of the cathedral, is the epicenter of what the Druids, long before the Christians, intuited as a field of perpetual impregnation and birth. They thought that this place held the frequency of a perpetually birthing virgin. Virgin, you know, the actual meaning of virgin, which is coming from the Greek word parthenos, means independent, sovereign, and self-contained, which I love so much, whole. So this is the energy of this site, this perpetual creativity. So when we step in this location where the cathedral is built, we are in this field of very quick manifestation. It's just incredible opportunity for creativity and manifestation and transformation, people have been visiting Chartres, coming to the cathedral for thousands of years to receive healing for themselves and for loved ones, and to be transformed. You know, the cathedral is a survivor herself. She has been burnt 4 times and reconstructed and risen from the ashes. So this version of the cathedral is its 5th incarnation. And each time the cathedral was dedicated to Mary. And this 5th incarnation has been dedicated to the risen Mary. So when we visit the cathedral, when we visit the town, we are in that energy of the risen feminine, the feminine representing physicality, representing matter, rising up in marriage with the divine spirit. So we receive these blessings and these vibrations when we're there. And as I said before, I feel like everyone should visit who is interested in art and spirituality and creativity, who is a creative person themselves. But it's especially amazing to come with us when we're there, because we not only is our group a group of people who are just in adoration of everything that this site represents, all the different spiritual traditions that have intersected, and our amazing ancestors who have walked it, and the telluric energies of the earth, and the frequency of the perpetually birthing sovereign one. We get to spend time in the cathedral privately. You know, we go there in the mornings before it opens to sing, to do sacred movement, all of it in adoration of what is in the cathedral. And for each of us, it's going to be a different experience. As you may know, there are more than 400 representations of the divine feminine in the cathedral. And these representations are not just limited to Mary and to Mary Magdalene as well, but also many different manifestations of the divine feminine. For myself, I was blessed to spend time alone in the cathedral, whirling, and I could feel the presence of different feminine energies. It was very, very palpable. So from the Black Madonna all the way to Sophia, you get to experience these different faces, these different vibrations of the divine feminine. So in the mornings we practice, we do sacred movement in adoration of these energies, bringing them into ourselves, and also bringing our adoration, adding it to the energy of the site together. We also get to walk the magnificent labyrinth that is in the Chartres Cathedral. And this opportunity to step into what is really a portal to many dimensions, this incredible opportunity to be transformed by walking the labyrinth as a group. And as our theme this year is Waves of Love, together our aim is to dream together, bring our dreams together of a better world, of the new earth, and together move to circulate, distribute this waves of love into our world, to spread it. So walking the labyrinth as a private group, and going into the crypt, the lower church, as a private group, visiting the Black Madonna, who is really the center of the cathedral. She is the one that holds everything together, in my opinion. She who is at the threshold of the seen and the unseen. You know, her blackness represents many things, and we don't really have time here for me to get into what I feel her blackness and her being represents, but the blackness of space, of the infinite possibilities in the form of then a woman, in the form of the feminine, giving form to the possibilities, to the infinite possibilities. So we visit her and adore her as a private group. And these visits to the cathedral are so very special to us, especially because at the other times when you visit the cathedral, it's filled with tourists, which is still wonderful because everyone's adoring this, the presence that they feel there. But there's a lot of chit chat and a lot of all kinds of other things going on, where when we visit as a private group, we really get to experience that magnificent silence of this glorious, glorious temple. So in addition to our private visits, I'm also going to invite people into whirling. The whirling is also very similar to what we experience in the labyrinth, because in the labyrinth, you're turning. You start by going counterclockwise when you enter it, and you come out clockwise. You come out with a clockwise turn. So when you step into the labyrinth, you're turning, you're whirling. So there's a very close relationship between the practice of whirling and the labyrinth, walking the labyrinth. So I will invite you into whirling, which is again opening ourselves to being channels of light, of love in the world, receiving the blessings of the source, receiving the blessings of the unseen, and through turning, spreading the blessings, transmitting the blessings into the world. And as you saw at the end of that video, we will also just dance to free our energy and to be able to receive more and more blessings to then also distribute into our world. So a combination of whirling and freestyle dance to really fill ourselves with joy. And from that joy together, let the waves of love be spread into our world that is so in need of coherence, love, and a feeling of hope and brightness. So that's all I will share for now, Jim. If there are any other things that you want me to address, I would be happy to.
Well, thank you, Banafsheh. That's a nice preview of what we're going to be doing together. The only thing that I would add is that we start on Sunday the 2nd, and we have a concluding ceremony and celebration on Friday night before we disband on the Saturday. And we'll be dreaming together, we'll be whirling and dancing and going through sacred movement together. And then on the Friday night, Apela's team and Banafsheh's team blend in a dream dance celebration of spirit and body that brings it all together. So it's a very exciting and invigorating, I would say, way to consecrate ourselves in the divine field of incarnational feminine sacredness. So thank you so much for that presentation. One of the things that we want to emphasize is the fact that the entire process in Chartres is ritual. The whole thing from beginning to end is ceremony. It's a pilgrimage. And what a pilgrimage is, it's a consecration of yourself to take a journey from this realm of time, space, and causality to the realm of timelessness, synchronicity, and oneness. And so the the process in Chartres is very much rooted in the ancient mystery traditions, in particular the Eleusinian mystery tradition of ancient Greece, which spanned over 1,500 years of sacred practice. So it's in that spirit that I want to welcome HeatherAsh Amara, who's another one of our core faculty, along with Apela and Banafsheh and others, who oversees our ritual and makes sure that from the time we convene on the Sunday to the time we disband to our various destinations on the Saturday, everything is within a sacred container. And there's a whole ritual team that helps with the labyrinth and the walking in the crypt and down to the mother tree, as we call it. And so HeatherAsh, who is from the Toltec tradition, and that's one thing I would note is the deep ecumenism of Chartres, that it draws from all the traditions of the world. And so HeatherAsh, thank you so much for all you do to hold our sacred space. Tell us more about it.
Thank you, Jim. I was one of the new ones that was called to Chartres last year. And it really was a call. Remember when I saw I've been part of Ubiquity and Wisdom Graduate School for many, many years. But when last year the pilgrimage popped up, my whole body was like, yes, you must go. So any of you that are having that feeling sense, just go. Because you're being called back into sacred relationship with a very ancient site. I know that the earth there are sacredness in all the places of the earth. I've been pilgrimaging to Teotihuacan for 25, 30 years now. And there are places like Teotihuacan in Mexico, like Chartres in France, that are nexus points of energy coming together that have been revered for millennia. And that there's this combination of the energies that are bubbling up from the earth that call us together, and then all of the devotion that has been put into the place over the centuries that you can really feel emanating out of Chartres, out of the depths of that place. And so my love of ritual is so overjoyed to get to bring that to Chartres and to walk in the footsteps of many, many that have walked before us, both Ubiquity University and Wisdom Graduate School over the last 17 years, and also the ones that have come before, the ancestors of that place, and the ancestors that we are also bringing as we join together. So as the ritual director, my love and play with this place is to weave a web, to enter into, probably better to say, enter into the web that is already there, and then to weave a web to hold all of us that are on the pilgrimage, to create a sacred container, that in that sacred container, as we drop into the energies and the ancestors and the dreaming that is already there, we can let go of the ways that we've been domesticated, of the places we've been busy in our lives, the places that we've been in worry or disconnect, and we can come back home to ourselves and come back home to that knowing in our bones that we are connected, that we are never been separate, that the mama welcomes us back, embraces us to her, and that we can learn again, feel how to rest into our intuition, our creativity, our celebration, that we can find the joy that is inside all of us, and that really we're bridging the worlds, the physical realm and the spiritual realm, the mundane and the magic, so we can remember they're not separate, that they are always together. So with our bodies, with our hearts, with our dreams, with our ceremonies, every ceremony that we do to connect with the land, to connect with each other, to connect with the ancestors, to connect with the energies of Chartres, we are dropping deeper into that beautiful healing energy that we'll also be doing through music this year, which is just, we get to bring it through our bodies, through the ceremony and the dance. We also get to bring it into our hearts through the voice and the song, and come back to how we can heal not only ourselves, but I believe every time that we step into ceremonial space, especially at these ancient sites, that we're also healing the earth. That these places are portals that call us back together again, that call us back into our wholeness, that as we settle in, that we then become part of the energy moving back out, that is the greater healing for the earth and for the land, as well as the humans, the trees, the animals. So for any of you that feel called, let your heart hold you, not your mind, because sometimes the mind is not to be trusted, but your heart knows. Your heart knows. And ritual helps us to make that journey from our mind back into our heart, so that our mind is held in the wisdom and the unconditional blessing and opening of our hearts. And in that resting, we can reconnect to our stillness, to our ancestors, and to the blessing of being alive at this time. And allow that reconnection within our being to then go out for a larger healing. And that then travels with us back into our life. That one of the beautiful things about being on pilgrimage, like the pilgrimage at Chartres, is that it rewires us in such a way that we realize our entire life can be a pilgrimage. That walking your kid to school, that planting your garden, that driving wherever you're going can also be created in a sacred way. So those of you that are also know that you're coming, if you want to be part of the ritual team, to be part of the holding of the container and bringing us back into the sacred over and over again, please reach out to me. Would love to have you be part of the team as well. And there is just so much magic, healing, deep stillness and connection that we have the opportunity to do at Chartres. As Banafsheh was saying, we get time in the cathedral as a group. And one of the things that I've learned from pilgrimaging is that there's always multiple layers happening. And so while there is the tourist and the people coming through layer, our work together is to honor that layer as beautiful, wonderful, and to drop deeper, to really feel and be part of the massive flow of beauty and energy and intent that is Chartres, so that we slow down enough to tap into the roots and the underworld and the womb that is there, and let that fill and enliven and open us to new possibilities within ourselves and also within the world. So the dreaming work is the nighttime beautiful dreaming that Apela does, the dreaming that we'll do weaving the music and the dance together, and also the daytime visioning and dreaming as we go into ceremony and we open into more possibility. So hope to see some of you there, and just blessings to Jim, Banafsheh, Apela, and all the ones that have walked this pathway. Calen, so grateful for all I've learned from you, and look forward to seeing everyone very soon in France.
Thank you, HeatherAsh. Thank you so much. HeatherAsh is making a very powerful point, everyone, that in the end, the ritual, the ceremony, the dance, the dreams are all designed to create a container in which we can experience the transformation of our soul. And so the fact that you do that so skillfully, HeatherAsh, gives us all, I think, a sense of confidence and safety that we can enter into that sacred place with abandon. Banafsheh, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that's beautiful. I also wanted to say how people, when we come to Chartres, we really come into this beautiful community of like-minded, like-hearted people from all over the world. And in addition to the visits that we have to the cathedral and the beautiful ceremonies and rituals that we're a part of, we get to go experience these wonderful cafes and restaurants there and be together in that way as well, which is so wonderful. It really brings us all very close. And there's, so there are many layers to our experience there. And one layer is definitely this being together and enjoying being together and being in this sacred space, in this sacred site.
Yeah, the French cafes, the French cuisine, what's not to like? The long July evenings, it's a beautiful, beautiful experience at many, many levels. So thank you, HeatherAsh, so much for everything you do.
The beautiful light shows that are all over the town in the evenings. You literally feel like you've stepped into a fairy tale. There's incredible light shows on the cathedral, everyone, and also around town. That's really not to be missed. It's quite an experience.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that in. I think one of the things that comes through all of the presentations is the extraordinary energy field that Chartres represents. And oftentimes you go to a sacred place and you intuit depth and power, but you're not quite sure how to access it. And so we're very, very fortunate at the Chartres Academy to have a master of the energetic realms who comes from the Tibetan and Himalayan tradition as part of our deeply ecumenical amalgamation of spiritual energies there in Chartres. And Rayne, who's been associated with Ubiquity University and with Chartres from the beginning, is the one who tunes us as we enter that place and clears the energy of the room and makes sure that the labyrinth, when we walk the labyrinth, is just finely attuned because we're in an energy field. And so how we align with that to maximize the opportunities for growth and transformational development is a key to why we make pilgrimage there. So I want to welcome Rayne. And Calen, tell us a little bit more about the energetic qualities of Chartres and some of the work you do to make sure that the energy is consistent with what we need in the times that we're there.
Yeah. I've been with the university for 18 years, and I tend to try to arrive at least a day early to clear out energy of previous retreats or previous people who've been in the spaces that we occupy, and then set a new energy field based on the topic or the energetic of the people that are going to be there. So typically on a Sunday evening, after we have our opening, everyone's vibration or frequency is in the room where we have our classes. And late at night, after everybody's gone to bed, I go in with my singing bowl. I have a Himalayan singing bowl. There are no Tibetan singing bowls. They're Himalayan, which is comprised of 13 different metals and 4 times of what the Tibetans call sky rock or meteorite. And I'm able to walk up and down every row and download everyone's frequency into the bowl so that I have it available and I can transfer it into the lower church or the crypt and the labyrinth walk. And because we're doing waves of love this year, there's a mathematical equation or a method called Hartree-Fock, and I'm going to read this. It's an approximation for determination of wave functions and energy of a quantum body system in a stationary state. So because we're dealing with waves, the idea behind this energy field this year is to allow waves of energy and the waves of people in the form of their voices, because the main focus this year is for everyone to get to their original voice. So when we're working in the lower church and the labyrinth, we're trying to set up a field that's conducive to a meditative state, and we'll probably be doing the 5.5 breathing again, which we did last year down in the lower church. And it's to get everybody synchronized, both with themselves and the other people who are in attendance, but also the space itself, because you have the voices of all of the people who have ever been in Chartres and ever been in the lower church and they've ever walked the labyrinth. Those voices are still there because sound never dissipates. So the thought is to carry everyone's frequency to the labyrinth. And I think the way to do that is using if you can set up the octaves of each person's personal voice and set them up as there's something called Sierpinski triangles, which are equilateral triangles that you can just keep reducing by taking out the middle one. There's a way that when people walk the labyrinth this year, they will eventually arrive in the center at their original voice by peeling away all of the distractions and the worries and anything that's inhibiting their ability to engage with their original voice. So my system this year, in theory, is that as they walk the labyrinth, these things will be dissolving, these triangles will be dissolving, and when they take their last step into the center, they will step into their original voice. I've got a couple of quotes from Strahan. The Celtic well sinks to the water table, and the mean level is approximately 32 meters below the floor of the lower church, which means it's 37 meters from the flagstone of the choir, and the vault is 37 meters above the flagstone of the choir. So you actually have the labyrinth, and the whole floor of the cathedral is equidistant from both the well and the top of the cathedral. So it works like sort of like a twin particle system. So when you're walking in the cathedral, you're sort of wedged between the upper limits of the cathedral and the sky, and also the well down below. And this was important because if one regards the cathedral as a musical instrument designed to amplify waves that have some sort of relationship with the underground current of water, it's important that these two things have the exact same measurement of 37. So when you're in the cathedral itself, you're mostly being informed by the 5 wells beneath the cathedral. And Charpentier, in this, one of the required books is on the mysteries of Chartres, talks about that all the master craftsmen's art and science went to the tuning of the emptiness in quality, volume, and tension of the stone that gives it dimension, and that the two sort of spires on the outside are different heights, and built into the fabric is 2 slightly different axes which run the length of the building, creating a vibrato effect on the resonance of the cathedral. So that's in theory the reason why the 2 spires out front are 2 different heights. So I was fortunate to train with in the lineage of the builders of the cathedral and have a different set of knowledge of the geometry of the cathedral and how they worked with the stone, and how they embedded certain geometric formulas and sound into the stone. And there are ways in the cathedral that if the sound is just right, the stained glass becomes 3-dimensional. I've had people that I've walked the cathedral with on the energetics that somehow, if the tone is right and the air is moving just right, the stained glass becomes 3-dimensional. And again, the stained glass near the top of the cathedral is equidistant to the floor of the cathedral from the well beneath. And all of this just works together to give you a very rich, energetic eco field. where all things are possible. If you can just open your imagination and open your heart, I think that if you can show up this year because of the being musica, and there'll be a lot of music involved, that you will have the ability to have possibly a life-changing experience just based on being in the cathedral with the music that we're working on this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Calen. I love this notion. I wrote it down actually, that the masters were tuning the emptiness. And if you just think about that for a moment, that's a rather profound insight into the true nature of reality. And there's no one that I know of that can do that more astutely than Calen Rayne. And so he's one of our core faculty and an indispensable part of our presence there. So thank you, Calen, for everything that you do. I would mention also that Chloe Goodchild will be our lead faculty this year, who will be tuning us in discovering our inner voice, our naked voice, our one tone that we all possess if we just take the time to practice enough to find it. She is a world-renowned as a musicologist and a tuner of the voice. So in combination with Apela and the dreams and Banafsheh and the sacred practice and the rituals and what Calen's bringing, Chloe Goodchild will be leading us each day into how we tune ourselves. The cathedral is a music box, but each and every one of us is a music box. And each and every one of us has one note that, if sounded with purity, can open up our soul. And so that's what we're going to be exploring and seeking to achieve while we're there. And this is a part of the liberal arts that we consecrate in our time there. The Chartres masters over 1,000 years ago refined the liberal arts that had been developed by Pythagoras and Plato and Aristotle, brought it to their highest artistic form. And so as we go there every year, we take one of the liberal arts and we just delve into it for 7 days. Since 2006, we've been through 2 cycles of 7. Now we're right in the middle of our 3rd cycle. And musica is there right at the center, because Pythagoras believed that at the core of the universe, of the cosmos, was sound. That when you brought together the mathematical equations and the geometric forms, they produced sound. And he could sit so quietly that he could actually hear what he called the music of the spheres emanating from the sun. And so it's in that spirit that we are exploring waves of love, the healing power of the music of the spheres. So that's all in store July 2nd through 8th. And we just invite everyone in our Humanity Rising and Chartres Wisdom School and Ubiquity communities to join us for this sacred time together. I guarantee you that it will bring balm to your soul. And in that spirit, I'd like to welcome back Banafsheh, who has been so instrumental in fashioning the programs year after year. Banafsheh, is there anything that you would like to add to what we have been presenting today?
Yes, I would like to say that we will have sound journeys, everyone, as well, where you can really, you're invited to experience the sound in whatever way you want. You can lie down, you can sit in meditation, you can move and dance. So really immersing ourselves in music. And as Jim was saying, musica is the liberal art that is closely related to the sun. It's also the liberal art that corresponds to the heart. So that's why we're calling it the waves of love, to together really open our hearts and dream together a world that we really want to see and to leave for the next generations, to dream this world together and to sing and dance it. And there's really very little other sites I feel on the planet that is as potentiated as Chartres, that so many people over the thousands of years have realized is really a place where manifestation is possible. So coming together to create waves of love, I feel, is so important, both in our personal lives and in the collective, to send these waves of love to places that are so needed all over the planet.
Thank you, Banafsheh, Calen, HeatherAsh, Apela, Timoti, Veronica. These is just as a sample of the kinds of people and programmatic aspects that we'll all be experiencing as we make our pilgrimage together. Again, if you are wanting to find out more, go to ubiquityuniversity.org, and right there at the top of the homepage, you'll see a banner about Chartres. Just click on that link and you'll go to the course description and the registration page. We invite all of you as part of our community. You know, one of the things that has partly ripped the world apart during the pandemic and with social media is more and more we're being isolated from one another. And going together with people from all over the world to a sacred site infused with feminine energy is one of the most effective ways to bring coherence to us as individuals, to us as community, and to bring healing not only to ourselves, but to the larger world. Because to the degree that any of us heal, any of us transform, it sends out ripples like a pebble dropped into a pond that reverberate far and wide and in ways that can't be imagined when you drop the pebble that creates the ripple in the first place. So join us in Chartres and be part of a sacred space and a collective dreaming and sacred movement and ritual and energetic purification that is represented by that sacred place, because it's all contained in a very powerful way by the Great Mother who holds us all. So in the spirit of the Great Mother, in the spirit of all of you who have been so faithful in your support of everything that we and other groups are doing around the world, I want to invite you, I want to bring blessings to you, and thank you all.